You hear that?
Well, I would say, what's up? What's up? What is family? Hello, how you doing? And good evening, good morning, good night, all that good stuff. How you been? How you been doing? How you gonna be doing? We're grateful and thankful to be in the building once again, trying to give some encouragement and some, what you would say, some love to the people. So we say thank you today, and we say grateful for you and those that have jumped on today, and all our other viewers that's been waiting for us for a while. We took I guess we would say, a detour. Life has happened. I think people say now that we've been lifing. I don't
You've
know
been
what that
lifing.
means. Yeah, you've been
I
lifing. We've been lifing. We've been vacationing. We've been working. We've been doing all kind of stuff, moving, all kind of stuff. But what I would like to tell you is, welcome to In Between Your Lines with Big Mike and Parsha. And we say thank you and much obliged for being in the building with us once again. It's been a while. We've been waiting. People have been waiting. People have been asking, when you coming back, when you going to do this, whatever. But we're grateful. And like we always, what will we all tell you is that we're thankful for the time that we were able to be off. We're thankful for the love that you still show to us, even though we haven't been here. We haven't been where we need to be. We're just, as I always say, we're grateful. Grateful for the blessing. God has allowed us just to be in the land of the living one more time. Like I always tell you, you're needed, you're important, and you are valuable to us. And sometime in life, God allows you to take a detour, to take some rest and get some rest. We realize that Jesus had to steal away sometime to get away from the monotony and pray and ask God, what next do I need to do? Is this still what you have for me to do? And we remember in the garden, as he was kind of pleading with the Father, hey, these knucklehead dudes that people I'm getting ready to die for, can you remove this cup? And he said, And he said, no, not my will, but your will be done. So we say tonight, let God's will be done in our life as well as in your life. We realize that God is always in the midst. He's always moving us into different directions, different positions, and allowing us to see different perspectives of life. Do we still want to be here? Do we still want to do this? Or are we still passionate about what God has in store for us? We know that he's not through with us yet, and that's why we still do what we do, praise the way we praise, and give God thanks the way we give him thanks. So, Parsha, we say good evening. Glad to see you back. See you got all your do-work, but they say you didn't have your do-right rag on, but you got your do-right hair, and you got the hair right, got the lips right, the eyes right, the teeth is shining and bright, and you got your sunny go to best shirt on, like they would say. When people used to wear yellow, they'd be like, you didn't came from church, didn't you? That's that sunny best that you got on. So that's that Easter. No, they would say that's that Easter dress, Easter outfit you got on. Look, I can wear yellow anytime I want to.
Exactly.
But what I would say to you today is, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure being able to kind of recoup with the family and adjust with the family and try to figure out what we got to do in the family as the husband, as the stepfather, as the provider, help with providing, what you would say, the guider,
the leader,
the leader, the motivator, the one that's going to stand up when it's time to fight and protect the family. So as we go into tonight, I guess my one question, I don't know if Parsha has anything tonight, but I wanted to look at this and if she want to take a curve and throw me another curveball back, might be a bunt, might be
I got you. Go ahead, do what you do.
But as I looked at life and been a lot of questions in my head, and I don't know if me and her had talked about this before or not, but the question I had and I've asked a lot of people, is the way your life is today, is that God's fault, or is that your choices that you made in life and put you in the places that you are now? So the question is it God's fault where you at, or is it your fault that you're where you're at? So I'm just asking that because I had to look at when people start saying, well, God, I'm here, I'm there, this happened and that happened. And I'll give you a quick example. And I looked at sometime, me and the wife kind of talked about different things because she's in the medical field. And, people say a lot of things are genetic, high blood pressure, diabetes. But I realize if I'm still not pushing away from the table, I'm getting the second and third plate, putting the extra, me and the wife, we don't get into it, but she's trying to watch my salt, I'm saying, my salt intake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type that, I don't taste the food before I put my salt on, I'm saying? So I salt it, then I taste it. So now I'm trying to get back to tasting it, seeing if it does need salt. And then be there. So, a few times he's like, hey,
good thing.
excuse me.
Good thing.
I am trying to talk. Mom would tell you that it's disrespectful to interrupt grown folks while they're talking and stuff. I don't know why. You just felt that you had to just kind of like, jump in. But my biggest thing is that, and the question is the things that has happened in your life, is it God's fault? Or is it some of the choices that you've made in your life? So my last thing, and I'll let you jump in here, is that if my stomach's a little big, like I said, it's because I ain't pushed away from the table. If my marriage is not right, it's maybe because, as we always say, the grass wasn't greener on the other side. I needed to put some fertilizer on this side. Maybe I needed to chop some weeds down. Maybe I need to mow some grass on this side, and maybe my grass would look like the people's grass on the other side. But I chose to, our marriage, our communication ain't right. We don't talk like we used to. We don't sit down like we used to. We don't have intimacy. And I'm not talking about sex. I'm just talking about being able to embrace each other and just relax and realize that you got my back and I got your back. And I feel comfortable as I would feel with God, the way he has us cuddled in his arms. We should feel the same way. So in life, is the choices that happen or the things that happen in your life, is it your fault or is it God's fault? Go ahead, Alan Parsons. I didn't mean to bust you. I didn't mean to come out like that.
Before we came back to do the show, we should have had some board meetings so that I won't be tossed these questions. But that's all right. I can handle it. I'm ready. Yes, it has been a while since we have come together to do this show, but I am grateful tonight to be here in the land of the living, to be able to be here with you and all of them. It is amazing. It is amazing how God has just worked certain things out in our lives. And I'm pretty sure that for those that have been waiting, and comment down below what's been going on in your life. Bring us up to date. But to jump in and answer this question, which is not an easy question to answer. There are certain things that we do not control. Period, point blank. No matter how much money you have and power you have and politics you have, there are certain things you just can't do, and that's left up to God or nature or however you want to say it, but it ain't up to you. So the day we were born, the day we died, nobody knows. We can try to prolong it with all these vitamins and injections and eating healthy and and meditate, but we still don't know. Some of the healthiest people can, so we can't control the beginning nor the end. But I feel, it's me, there ain't no verse or chapter or a Bible book. This is the Book of Della. the book of Parsha, excuse me. I feel that God gives us that wonderful thing called free will. And in those between days, born and die,
So in between the dash.
in between the dashes, he allows us to choose a plethora of different ways that we can live this life. And people will say, oh, well, I didn't get a chance to choose my mom and my daddy. No, but you got a chance to choose if you were going to be a good child, an obedient child, a learned student. There are choices you can make along the way, no matter who your parents were or are and who your siblings are. So I believe that a lot of it falls back on us. However, even in the most fantastic situations or the most degrading situation, God is still there to carry us through in a way. Because if it's not our time to go, he's allowing us to live through that thing. He's allowing us to go through that thing. So that thing doesn't always have to be something bad and terrible. It can be something great and fabulous. So he's navigating us through our choices. So even if we make a not so healthy choice to, go out here and do drugs and rob people and, chop up babies or whatever crazy things people want to do, there is still some redemption that God allows you to have, whether you choose it or not. If life is great, never got a speed ticket in your life, never was to the point where you didn't have to budget per se to pay your bills, and you've always been loved and nurtured and you have a great family, guess what? You still could have chosen to not be a good steward of that great situation. So that's why I say a lot of responsibility still comes back on us on how we handle our lives. So I don't think it's God's fault per se. And then I've even had people say, well, I never went to church when I grew up, or I didn't know about religion like that because that's not how I was raised. Or I've had the opposite. Well, I was raised all my life in church and I'm done with that. Been there, done that, don't want it no more. But guess what? That's your choice. That's part of that free will thing. I don't believe, once again, this is me, I don't believe that God created us to be slaves unto him. The example that most religious books give us, whether it be the Bible or the Quran or other books, it's always a choice. He wants us to choose him. And so when you're in a marriage, when you're in a relationship, even as parents, when your children get to a certain age, you sort of kind of want them to choose you back in certain ways. And that gives you that verification that you raised them sort of kind of right. You know what I'm saying? So we put God in that parent figure, and as a parent, as a spouse, as a leader, as a source, when we choose him back, that's a little bit of obedience of where that's what he really wanted you to do, but he didn't force you to do it. So when you do it, the grace that he was already giving you just because he created you one day gets even more. So to answer your question, I really think a lot of the fault or praise or just responsibility falls on us.
That's where I was. And I only ask that question because so many people blame God for certain things that happen in their life. And I always say, God, as you said, God gave you a choice to either run across the street in traffic. And I'm telling you, it's real because people say, "Oh well, it's God's fault that my marriage is not like this, or it's God's fault that my job is this, or wait a minute, you talk nasty to the boss, you didn't come in on time, you took too many breaks, they saw you outside doing whatever, talking back, so it ain't got nothing to do with God's fault or the boss's fault. It's your fault of the choices that you made in that situation of why you don't have what you have." So and so what I was trying to look at is that stop taking the blame off of God, because God said, look, I've given you everything that pertains to life. You lack nothing. Everything that you need to know, you already know. Everything that you need to do, I've already told you how to do it. I've showed you. And if not, it's in the instructions. And I'm faulty with that, because as I spoke or taught the other two weeks ago, I said I'm not an instruction kind of guy. Our son's basketball goal when I was living in Vine Grove got put together, but we had the base done, all the bars twisted and tightened, and it was just two pieces that had to come together at the end. So we picked this pole up and slam it down on the thing, and the thing is sitting this way, but the other part is sitting this way. So you had to turn it this way because it was that bug was jacked up. So the base of the basketball goal usually is supposed to be perpendicular, straight.
Yeah.
And the rim is supposed to be just as straight as the.
Yeah.
It was like the flag flying on the other side. And then when we looked at the instructions, it said, "Hey, there's a hole in the back. Line the holes up before you put the pole down, because once you put it down, you can't get it back."
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Johnny would have read the instructions, but we've seen basketball goals go up before we put them together. I put them together at the job, but it's different because you slow down at the job compared to you at the house. Your kid's like, "Hey, I want the basketball goal up." So guess what? It was like this. The rim was this way, so you had to turn it this way. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. It still make you want to pick the instructions up, but me and the instructions don't. So just like I say, the Bible gives instructions. Hey, don't go in the ditch. If you keep going straight, then guess what? You ain't got to worry about falling in the ditch. Keep staying straight. If you teeter off, because of your own mess up stuff, that's on you. But the car can only stay in if you're controlling it. You let go of the wheel, I got an accident. No, you got yourself an accident. Didn't nobody hit you. You allowed yourself to go in the ditch. So that's what I was kind of looking at, is that we stop blaming other people for your mishaps, when most of the time our mishaps is our fault, or our missed opportunities is our fault, because either okay, God, I don't know where we're going, but we're too scared to step out on faith and say, "Okay, God, I don't know where you're taking me, but I thank you for the opportunity. And I know if the opportunity doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, you still got a way for me to get back to where I need you." But will you ever step out onto the water as Peter, and I don't know, good Lord, Peter had to step out on the water to figure out if he could walk on there. He would have never knew if he wouldn't have stepped out. And that's with us sometimes. We won't step out on the faith that God has built in us to do. If I tell you come out the boat, that means I already got you. So don't take your eyes off of me. That's the only reason he's saying, because he started looking at where he was. He didn't look at where he was when he stepped out. He just stepped out. I don't remember them saying, well, he looked down to see if the water was calm, to see if there was any fishes jumping, or there was any alligators or any turtles. And he just stepped out. And that's what God was telling us. Trust me to step out. So I know you. I got your wheels turning. So go ahead.
Look. Let me take the boat. I got it. So it's a beautiful thing that we're talking about responsibility, because it's so easy to blame someone or something else when things don't go right. Now, when things are right, oh, we want to take all the credit. Oh, and nobody else helped us. We was that independent, blah, 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 want, did it all by ourselves.
Yep.
And neither situation is the truth. And in relationships, most people in this year, 2025, do not take time to get to know their person or persons.
Right.
Let alone have they taken time to get to know themselves.
Right.
So then when you're merging all of these energies and ideas and beliefs together, and then fast forward 3 months, 6 years, and now y'all don't like each other, can't stand each other, you're always arguing, can't figure out how in the world I liked him in the first place or I loved her in the first place because certain things weren't done properly. And now you want to play the blame game. But it's still not too late to hit pause, do what you should have did 6 months ago or 6 years ago, so that you can have another 6 months in 6 years. Right. Everybody's so ready to block and delete. This society is so full of block and delete and erase and then repeat the same foolish mannerisms. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and I tried to explain to him why I know that most men that say they want to love me aren't ready to love me. Or they might be ready to love me, but they're not ready for me to love them how I love. Because I'm not saying I'm God, because I'm not. Lord knows I'm not. But that thing called unconditional love is a goal of mine. And I've come to a point in my life where if you have had someone in your life that has been that specialness, you've had love for them, you've had friendship for them, you've had trust, and they are an asset to your life, who am I when I come in your life to ask you not to talk to them just because they're the opposite sex or just because they're another person that might take a little bit of your attention from time to time? I tell any person that wants to love on me, I want to be a benefit to you in your life. I don't want to come into your life and take anything that's wonderful and positive away. I want to be able to add to that. And if I can't do that, then I don't need to be in your life. And if you can't do that, you will not be in my life. And it's easy for people to hear that, and that sounds all beautiful and poetic and lovely and wonderful. But that's how I live. And anyone that has been loved by me knows that. And anybody that is in my life on today knows that. And so I was explaining to him because he was shy about sharing his true feelings about an ex-lover that he had. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not a jealous person. I don't stand foolishness, but I'm not a jealous person. I said, so what you need to understand, and I said everything I just said. I said, so if that person, you had a relationship with her for 8 years, and out of those 8 years, 6 were wonderful, or the majority of that time was awesome, why in the world would you be scared to share that you missed that? Because that's part of who you are that attracted me to you now. I said, it's okay to miss whatever you had with her, or if this is your anniversary and you're reminiscing, it's okay. That's almost like asking a parent to forget that they have children that they love because they about to marry you. Or to ask them to disown their parents because they now about to be your husband. What? Love is love. And just because the titles and the hats and maybe positions of timing in your life changes, that doesn't devalue what you had with that person, nor what you can still have. Because life, if nothing else, in all religions, is about relationships. God did not create man or woman to be alone. So when people want to click up and say, oh, well, this is all that you're allowed to like and have in your life because the other people don't belong, that's not godly, because he created us all. And our goal in life is to learn how to live in harmony. So no matter what color and creed, and I'm speaking to myself, and I know he's laughing on the inside. We just had a conversation before we hit record, but God wants us to love us all, no matter what we look on the outside, inside, or in between. But I believe that's the end goal, because he created us all in such diversity, where instead of trying to figure out which class is the best, or which color is the best, or which section is the best, why not let's appreciate the wonderfulness of each other? So going back to the responsibility with the relationships, people need to slow down just a little bit, get to know the man or woman in the mirror before buddying up with somebody else, so that when that time comes of discourse or disagreement, it won't be a blaming you or him. It'll be, let's figure out together how this happened, and let's find a resolution together. Because it should not be a war when there's love.
Right. That's true. That's true.
And that's a whole other topic for another day. Because some people use religion to justify their wars, and that's not righteous either. Especially if we're his chosen people and been taken. But that's another whole conversation for another day.
So let me take it here. Now, I just taught a class on Amos 3:3.
Okay.
And I know you always say, well, I'm not, but Amos 3:3 says, how can two walk together unless they agree? You gotta have some communication of which way we're going.
Yeah.
As husband and wife, best friend, when we started this show, we had communication of what direction we wanted to go. If you were thinking one way and I'm thinking another way, then it couldn't work the way it's supposed to. And that's what God has told us, as well as relationship with God. How can two walk together unless they agree? You have to. There has to be communication of, hey, we're going down 65. We're going to go down 165 miles, and then we're going to take a right to get, blah, 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 such and such and such and such, or, whatever the situation is. But you have to have the mindset of that I can't do this on my own or by myself in relationship. As we were talking, I just taught on relationship Sunday. So that's even crazier that we talked about relationship, that we have to agree, come together as one, and realize that, hey, I can't make it without you. You can't make it without me. White, black, green, purple, we can't make it without each other. This world was made for all, and that's why God did a smorgasbord when he did with the people. He made black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, this, that. We got so many different people that you can understand that wherever you go, that everybody don't like this, or everybody don't like that, but I like this and you like that. So we can come together, but our common goal is to realize that I need you and you need me, and that we need God in the middle of all the situation. And until we get him in the center, and that's why, to me, every relationship doesn't work, is because you don't have him in the center seat. You got you and cousin and mama in the seat, and God sitting on the bottom, like, okay, my turn to come sooner or later. So that's where, the mindset of me, how can we walk together? How can two walk together unless they agree? So in life, and that's just like with God. How can you walk with God unless hey, not all the time I want to come and preach to people. Not all the time I want to open the door. Not all the time I want to forgive people. But I do, because the Father say, boy, you want forgiveness, so you better forgive. You want to have a relationship with me, but you can't even have a relationship with them. How can you love me, whom you've never seen, but can't love your brother, who you seeing every day? I ain't trying to preach, but I'm just saying, God, I love you, but do you love your brother? Do you love your sister? Give you a quick example, and then we'll figure out where we're going. But I had to go to a funeral of my uncle, and me and my aunt was not always on, even kill. And me and God had to really wrestle a little bit. And I'm like, God, I need my peace. I'm trying to hold on to it. I'm trying to keep it, trying to take care of it. And it took me and it took God saying, look, boy, I don't care what you got going on. I don't care. Go down there and be who you're supposed to be, forgive, and be the nephew that you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be saved. You're supposed to be the Christian man. But see, in that pause, let me give you that. That's what she said to me. Oh, you're supposed to be a Christian. And that burnt me all the way up. All the way up. You're supposed to be this, but look, I'm trying to guard my peace. But you won't let me because you're trying to get in my peace. And I can't let you get in that peace. But in that whole, my long story short, went down there, God opened doors, allowed me to stand up and sing and be who I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And as I would say, bygones is bygones, and I'll be there for her when she needs me. But I keep my distance still. But I can't not be the light in her life if I'm in the distance. You know what I'm saying? And not saying I can't still be bright, but I still got to be, hey, how you doing? I know what it's like because we've been there. You know what I'm saying? We've lost. So we know what it's like to lose a husband, a wife and stuff. So questions gonna come up, and she's lost, but it's newer now. So you have to be what God has called you to be. And I feel that I'm a light. I'm a brightener. I'm a changer. When I walk into the room, I'm going to change the atmosphere, not because of who I am, but it's because of whose I am.
And you're not changing to no blues and sadness. You bringing it up, baby. You bringing it up.
Yeah, I have to come in and, I understand that, but he in a better place. You know what I'm saying? So just so much stuff. And then one other thing, one of my boys that I had knocked my piece away again, and he tried to holler at one of my homegirls and brought my name. Oh, well, I know Mike. I know Big Mike. Don't be bringing me and you ain't talked in almost 3 years. 2-3 years. I think you remember 2-3 years we ain't talked, and then he ended up seeing her on Facebook, and then seeing we friends. Well, Michael knows who I ask him about me. Oh no, I told her, I said, stay as far away as you can. I told her to say that.
I guarantee you he won't use you as a reference no more.
Nah, he ain't using no reference. And then but see, it's funny that the reference have to say, the person has to say, well, we ain't talked in a while. And we ain't talked because of certain differences. And I told her, I said, we ain't talked because of certain situations, because of my show, different things. And you mad about, that ain't my fault. Turn it off like you can turn it on. So, but yeah, it's been a lot of stuff that guys like, hey, you don't step into that. If she asks you a question about him, you give the answer. But other than that, y'all talking, you do whatever you want to do. I'm going to keep smiling.
Exactly.
And if something blows up,
ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't got nothing to do with you.
Because it already happened once with our friend. She was talking to another guy that I knew. I said he was a good guy. And then guess what? Everything blew up. So I said, no, I'll never take that. Exactly. You make your own choices. You grown.
Keep my name out your mouth. Keep my name out of your mouth. And let's talk about this show. Now, if you talk about this show, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, it's just...
Okay.
Go ahead.
A personal situation came up.
Okay.
And you know the details. So, in the hiatus, I have been doing something I haven't done in over 20 years, y'all. And as I'm doing this thing, and I'm going to try not to cry, But I am so grateful how God loves on me. And so as I'm doing this thing that I haven't done in 20 years, my spirit is still communing with God. And so opportunity comes to me, not anything I went and searched for, but someone called and said, hey, we got this going on. I think you will be perfect for it. You know, here's some details. Can I pass your name on? You know, and so no problem. And then the conversation happens. And then I'm on the phone with some owners of a company, and they're talking about a position that could suit me.
Oh, wow.
Now, in the situation that I'm currently in, I'm happy. I'm loving it, actually. I'm on the beach every day. Every day on somebody else's dime. And for y'all that are just now tuning in, I enjoy the beach. I will retire on the beach. So anyway, so I'm already on the beach and enjoying this new opportunity that I have and stuff. And this other thing comes up, and it's a beautiful carrot just dangling. And because I know why I'm in the first situation, and that was the biggest thing. We just talked about the blame game. So right. I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's working out exactly how God showed me and I predicted for it to happen. So everything's on point on this side. Then this other beautiful sounding, realistic situation comes into my lap. And there's a couple of glitches. But overall, 80% is on point. But 20%, not so much. So the old me would have jumped at that 80.
Right.
Because it was beautiful, shiny carrot. Like I said, it was strong 80. A strong phase went in hand.
Is it?
But those few possibles is what made me hesitate. So I had to call in my counsel, had to have a conversations with other people that know me, know my goals, know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and brainstorm and just because once again it's about relationships. So when you're in a situation where 90% looks like you should be doing it, but it's that 10% of doubt, call on God and call your counsel. And 99% of the time, your counsel will be in direct coordinates with God, even if you're not. So in this situation, that's what happened for me. It was like, man, I could say yes, and this, and happen. But most of my counsel was like, remember why you took what you're doing now? And everybody was saying, let's keep praying. So when you gotta keep praying about something, that means that don't mean run off to Vegas and get married. When you gotta keep praying about something, that don't mean go to the club and do something in the bathroom. When you gotta keep praying about something, that doesn't mean take the phone number of the person that's trying to give it to you because their conversation tantalized your ears for that 15 minutes. When you are supposed to be praying, that means pray and wait so that you won't have later on the conversation of the blame game because you weren't patient in that waiting period. And so I took my own advice at that time. And that 20% of doubt that I didn't have peace with was not enough for me to say yes to the 80% that was perfect. Fast forward, forgot about that situation. It's still in the zone of what I'm doing. Even in that current situation, it got even better immediately after I said no. Now I'm no longer at the beach, but I'm closer to the people that love me and where I need to be for this time being. because of the responsibilities, and things are going great. I ain't thinking about that other situation that I said no to, figured it on passed on by. But when God is fighting and winning your battles, which
Oh, wow.
I'm not even in a battle. But I'm just using some words that you guys would be able to relate to. So when God is still working on your behalf in the background, I done forgot about this situation. I done forgot about them people. I'm moving on. Like I said, things even got better in the current situation. I get a phone call out of the blue on a phone that I don't answer any calls on in the middle of being busy in my current situation. So I know that was God telling me to answer that phone to an unnamed number. Because if you call me and your name is not in my contact list, I am not going to answer unless God tells me to. So in that moment, I see a 704 pop up. I'm like, oh, hello. So we have a conversation. And it comes to find out this is another owner of the same company. And he is sharing with me his grievances about how I was handled. I'm not an employee. I'm not a contractor. I'm not anything in that company at this present at the time we're having this conversation. I'm just a regular potential to be maybe one day something. And he and I have a very, what I feel, intimate conversation about how he felt I was handled. And I appreciated that. I didn't call him, I didn't email him, I didn't text him and ask for any of this. So when you are connected to the right source and the right people, there is little regret and lesser blaming and more praising as you continue to go through life. So for me, I don't know what's going to come from that because this literally just happened. But it just felt good that I wasn't forgotten, even though I forgot them. It felt good to know that God is speaking up for me. My works have already been shown to be proven and good and very good, that I should not have been disrespected like that. And I didn't have to become an angry Black woman. I didn't have to curse nobody out. I didn't have to make a bad review on the company. I didn't have to get sassy with nobody and disrespect. I said no in a most graceful way and left that relationship open for future opportunities. When I said no, I didn't say, take your blah, blah, blah and shove it. How dare you? Yeah. No. I handled myself as the beautiful queen that I am. And because of that, I got a surprise phone call from someone that doesn't know me personally, but sharing his remorse for me because I should not have been treated like that. Now that's God. Right. And so for me, it was a proud moment. I'm not a prideful person, but I had a proud moment and I was like, oh, wow, that felt good. That he recognized my shine. He didn't see me on social media talking about that. I've been working too hard, working too much, being too busy, being in my business, handling my business, taking care of my responsibilities, living my life. So I know it was only God. So it just goes all the way back to instead of jumping into situations, relationships, jobs, schools, any decision, take a little time to get to know what it is that you want, why you want it. And then as these opportunities are presented to you to choose from, because it's a buffet of a world out there. And until you actually know exactly what you want, he'll let you see the options. But that doesn't mean every option you have to say yes to. You can just know it's an option. Have a conversation with the option. Listen to how the option responds to your communication and mannerisms. And if it's not something that you're willing to live with or accept or even like, then politely excuse yourself from that optional situation in a respectful way. Because you never know when that person or people might spin back into your life. So you always want to treat people how you want to be treated, move in a godly fashion so that you can get something back if that's how God chooses to bless you. So all this, made me mad, block, delete, I don't need you in my life attitude, to me is not righteous. So something didn't go your way. Oh, tomorrow I need you to sign these divorce papers. That's not righteous. I personally am divorced. For those that don't know me, I have been every position of relationship you can think of. And probably more that I just don't know what it's called. But in that moment of divorce, did I fight for my marriage? Hell yeah. But if I'm the only person showing up for counseling, now I'm not going to beg nobody to love me. I'm not going to beg nobody to stay with me. So actions speak louder than words sometimes. And after a while, because it wasn't just one counseling session. So after a while, I had to say, okay, all right. I hear you. I feel you. I see you loud and clear. Now, y'all going to have to get the book whenever I write to find out why we got divorced. But it wasn't because anybody was cheating or beating on each other. Not that marriage. But it was something that is hard to talk about even to this day. But I was living it, and I was willing to live it because of my love for him and his family. But it was something that he didn't want me to be tortured with for the rest of my life. So in that act of divorce, there was compassion and there was love. Because he would have had to choose between two women that he truly, dearly loved. And it wasn't no side chick. And I got it. I understood. It hurt, but I understood. So when things happen, you have to have peace. Or you should. I'm not going to tell you what you got to do. I have to have peace at the end of my decisions so that I won't have regret. I have a relationship with someone right now that we have a title that will never change. But there's other titles I would like to have with this person that I cannot. So I can't force somebody to be my friend. I can't force somebody to be in a situation where I trust them. I can't force somebody to be in a situation where they won't lie on me. So those are the times that I go to God and say, I don't understand why this is happening. Help me as I move through this. I want this with this person, but their actions, their words in their actions are showing me and telling me that they don't want this with me. So I'm grateful for the one title I have with this person for the rest of our lives and even beyond, because that title can never change. But if I can't have anything else, help heal me through this, God. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You shouldn't go over to the person's house and curse them out. That ain't gonna make it better. You shouldn't be out there in the street lying or even telling their truth that may not be the best look for them and spreading their business, because at some time you were a close relationship and you did have privileged information, but now when you're not, you out there trashing them. That's not love. And I will tell anybody, if you're doing that now, did you really love that person when you was with them? Because how could you go out here and dog out the father of your children, the mother of your children, your sister, your brother, your mom and daddy, but you said you loved them at some point in your life? For years, you loved these people. But now all of a sudden, because one or two things happen, the gloves are off. And you're presenting them in the illest way for your own gratification, momentary gratification, because soon you're going to regret that too. So when we're walking and leading in love, that conviction will hit us if we just said something we shouldn't have said, or we're about to do something we shouldn't be doing. That conviction will hit us. And I'm encouraging every one of us to heed to that so that we won't have those moments of, nah, that did that, or that said that. Because by the time you get to that point, a lot of times people don't want it to be repairable. It can be repairable, but the heart has to be softened again. And in 2025, people are okay with walking around with a hard heart or being heartless. And there are a lot of heartless believers. Contradictory, but true. And that's what we don't want for you. That's why we have these hard conversations, so that when you get off of this show and you back in your real life, you look at that situation and take the step of courage to have that conversation with yourself. And if there's something out there that you need to go and repair or salvage or not do, don't do it. Don't say it. Don't be it. They say be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. They say take the higher step. Take that higher step. Sometimes the ego doesn't want you to turn the cheek. And in the turning of the cheek means not saying something back to the person that's cursing you out. You know you don't deserve that. Walk away. Don't get caught up in the get back. Stay the bigger person. It might save a life or lives. It will save lives. And then 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, you can come back and repair or regrow. But if you sit there and you spar in that moment right now, God can do all things. But why do we want to make him work hard? We can make certain decisions in that instant that keeps our life light and easy and get easier and better. And that's why I say 99% of the time it's our choices. It's our responsibility. We can't blame that on God, because I promise you, some of us have gotten to a point where we have numbed that little spidey sense that I say we have inside, where it's saying, shouldn't say that, shouldn't go here, shouldn't do that. Nope. And then the tsunami of the Pokemon comes out, it just destroys everything in 5 seconds. And in that 5 seconds of destruction could take 5 decades to repair. It ain't worth it. So is it God's fault that you lost your temper and then you end up losing your kids? Is it God's fault that you actually accidentally slid on that penis in the middle of the club? Is it God's fault that you went and withdrew all the money out your bank account because you was mad because somebody didn't want to increase your allowance and you went to Vegas and gambled and lost it all? Is it? No, it's not. But now you got to deal with your husband. Now you got to deal with DSS. Now you have to deal with the consequences of your 5-second. I'm just saying. If people was to take a pause and count to 3 before they say or do, it would save a whole lot of relationships. It would save a whole lot of pain. Because when I took that 5 seconds and I phoned my friends and my family and I call them my circle of love, and 2 days later I was like, nah, I'm good. Because initially, if I had to make a decision that first hour, I'd take it. But praise God, it wasn't no pressure. It wasn't no pressure. It was just like, oh, okay. Hey, this thing sound good. Feel good. I can do this. I can do that. But it's still, and God is a God of absolute. You know who's supposed to be your wife. You know who's supposed to be your husband. You know who you supposed to be with, even in the moment of the quickie. You know. A little bit of patience goes a long way. A little bit of wisdom goes a lifetime. You know. I tell people that if I don't have a spiritual connection with you, I can't rock with you. You can't be my man. What? No. I gotta feel that. I gotta woo. If I don't feel that, you just a fan, bro. And when they don't understand what I'm saying, yeah, you're just a fan, sir. So you pretty much know, as you said earlier, what you need to know.
Right.
We want to ignore the cues. We want to ignore the wisdom. And we want to prepare for war. And there is no reason for that. There is no reason for it. God is a God of love.
Love. No confusion. He is not the author of confusion.
No.
Everything is decency and in
order. Yes.
In order. So he's an order God. So there's steps in everything that God does. So hey, we'll say that for the there are steps in the order of God. We ain't ready for that one yet, but we thank you. And I guess I'll say it because I think you got to work tomorrow. Of
course.
Okay. So I think I got to work too. So hey, we love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. It was a pleasure to get back into the building, get back on the mic. I don't know if it's like being a rapper or being, a movie star. You get back in front of the camera and you're like, man, I've missed this. I've missed the fellowship.
You know what? And that's when you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I missed. And the wife was like, well, when everything gonna happen, hey, everybody, and then, like I told you, a lot of other people were like, that didn't want to do it, didn't like the show. Now, I ain't seen what's going on. So, but we'll talk about that offline. But we thank you once again. We love y'all. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. And like we always say, that it's a wrap. So we give God praise for you once again, allowing us to come into your house, allowing us to be on your lunch break or in the car or wherever we are with you. But we want you to always take God with you and pray for us as you take God with you. Because if you take him with you, what I've learned is that he does the driving. And I don't know about you. And I say this in a funny way because I get in the car, I know I'm getting on the exit. By the time I realize I'm at this next exit, because it's just me. God, he been driving the whole time. He didn't turn lanes. And the wife said, you going 90? I don't know. I think it's God going 90. Might be me going 90, but I'm just trying. But my focus is not on nothing about getting home. You know what I'm saying? Not about the accident, not about the car. But we're just grateful that you have allowed us to come into your life. You don't let everybody in your life.
Exactly.
You don't push play for everybody. You don't hit the site for everybody. So like we always say, we want to be able to be a beacon in the night. We want to be that light on in the ocean, to where when you are lost, that you can still have a lighthouse to be able to come to. We always want you to always know that if there's prayer needed, if there's a conversation afterward, you know, it's going to get to a point to where we're going to be like, hey, can I get your car out? Hey, we're going to do what we got to do because we know what God has put inside of us. And I'll say it like that. And I'm trying to close this up, but as a preacher, you know, they don't let the preacher talk. And he said, I'm getting ready to close. I'm getting ready to take my seat. I'm getting ready. But brother, did you forget where your seat was?
10 minutes later.
Forget how to close the door. You know what I'm saying? It opens up like this and then it shuts back. But we are just elated that God has given us a word every time we've gotten on here. And it's not just for y'all that are watching us, but it's for us. So I ain't got no shoes on today, but most of the time, you know, I try to watch out so that my boots or my feet don't get stepped on, you know, and toes. You hit that pinky toe, is a done deal. Pinky toe, or you hit that big toe, the toes in the middle. I'm not saying they don't hurt, but you hit that pinky toe, you can't walk right. You hit the big toe, you're leaning sideways.
You got to stop for a minute.
So everything that we talk about is not just for you, but it's for us first. So I always say when I preach, God beats me up first and then allows me to beat you up. So, but we're thankful. Parsha, thank you for coming on and taking your time. We know you are, good Lord, we can't even say the word busy. I think if we say busy, I think your picture is in the dictionary down there to move that other part. That was like this, got the putting the stuff up on in the van, trying to get up in the truck, moving stuff out of the truck. So we thank you for your presence and thank you for allowing your light to shine in this place. Because, you know, everybody don't allow their light to shine in the place. So we appreciate your light. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your, what we would say, your transparency. And we'll get to your more transparency down the line. Down the line, but
they ain't ready. They ain't ready, but get ready.
They're not ready.
Get ready.
Yeah, but we thank you. We praise God for you. Like we always say, you're needed, you're important, you are valuable. God has always put him first in everything that you do. And know that love is God and God is love. So we appreciate you. Once again, do what you do, be what you need to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. Keep loving, keep praising, keep lifting one another up. And that's one thing. If we would do that, we could get this world the way it needs to be. Instead of pushing, we need to be pushing up, not pulling down. So we love you. And until next time, thank you for being on In Between Your Lines with I Am Parsha and Big Mike. We love you. And we ain't said that in a long time, but we give you the hug, kisses, and appreciate each and everything you do. Love you. Till next time, be blessed, be thankful, and love God. Until next time.